Yo, what is up, guys? This is RizzyPOW, and this is going to be my week 2 battle of the NPL, the National Pokeball League. And today, I'm going to be going up against Top Tier Boy, aka Seb. Link to his channel will be in the description. I believe this is actually going to be his last week in the NPL because he actually had to leave the league due to some personal things, and he's just been really busy as of late, I've heard. And I think David's actually going to replace him after this week. But this week, I'm going to be battling Seb. So, unfortunately, Seb had to leave, which kind of sucks. I know Ethan is also taking over for him in minors, which is really, really cool. Anyways, let's get to the battle right over here. Going to be battling Seb, and you guys can see the teams on the side. Seb is a pretty cool team, and also if you want to skip the team builder, you guys can just click that timestamp in the description, and it'll skip to the actual battle. So just gonna go over our teams real quick. Yeah, what did I say right there? Gonna go over our teams real quick. Sorry, my bad. But I have the team with KB, Clef, Ninja, Drill, and Seb's team is the Mew, Chomp, Tangrowth team. So he has some nice rain offense going over there with Pelipper, Mega Swampert. Mega Swampert is actually a huge threat this gen. Now getting that automatic speed boost and doesn't have to wait a turn. That's actually really huge for Mega Swampert. Makes it such a bigger threat. But yeah, I had to prepare for that thing. My team is very hyper offensive. I don't have many switch-ins, so I'm really weak to rain and stuff like that, so that's a huge threat to me. Also, he has crazy threats like Keldeo. Scarf Keldeo is really good against my team. He has webs as well, which I don't feel like Galvantula will be coming, just because even though my team is really fast and it'd be really nice to slow it down, I have things like Drill, which if I bring Drill, Galvantula is pretty much useless because I can spin off the webs. He doesn't have a ghost type, so I will always be able to spin and always come in on Galvantula, so it'll pretty much be useless if I do bring Drill, so I don't feel like Galvantula is a good bring this week. Nonetheless, he might bring it because Drill is not the best versus his team. Like, it can't really break down Mew, maybe like if it has Toxic or something. Tangrowth will wall it. He also has a rain offense like with Keldeo, Pelipper, Mega Swampert that all just OHKO it. So I could definitely see him bringing Galvantula just because Drill isn't the best versus team, and he might just not expect it. But if I do bring Drill and he brings Galvantula, you know, it's not going to be a good time for him. So that's why I feel like it might not come and probably won't. But anyways, let's just get into the battle. Also, wait, before I get into the before I get into the team builder, I also want to say that Seb doesn't have a fair resist, so Clefable is going to have a fun time, and I have a pretty cool set to show you guys, as well as he doesn't have a grounded poison type, so T-Spikes are very good versus him. So let's just get into the team that I have built for Seb right over here. So I got a nice offensive core between Greninja and Gengar to actually break down his team. So first off, I have Specs Greninja. His main switching to Greninja is actually that Tangrowth that he has right there. Like AV Max Speed F does not get 2 KO'd by Greninja, although it does get 3 KO'd. So if I do get a flinch or it does get weakened by like rocks and toxic spikes, and I feel like my team pressures Tangrowth pretty well, besides that, I can put it in range to be 2 KO'd from Dark Pulse, and then at that point he might have to sack a Pokemon. So that's what's really nice about Greninja. It's still a huge threat. He doesn't have the best Dark Resist, so I'm pretty much going to be spamming Dark Pulse versus him. His Dark Resist are Bisharp, which does not want to appreciate Specs Dark Pulse. It's going to do almost half to that thing and put it in range of like Hidden Power fighting from my Furfrou, which we'll get into that set in a bit. And Specs Dark Pulse, you know, he has Granbull, which I can actually see an AV Granbull coming versus me. It can be really nice for my KB as well, so that could be a bit of an issue, but I have stuff for that still. And what's his last? He also has Keldeo, but any damage on Keldeo is really appreciated. Keldeo is actually probably the biggest threat to at least the team that I have built right now. So any damage on Keldeo is going to be really, really nice for me. So This is just a spec set. You know, I have Water Shuriken because to help me pick off Mega Swampert and Rain. Specs Water Shuriken and Rain is doing a ton of damage. And then I had T-Spikes to actually spike up on the potential Tangrowth switch in. So that's really nice. And in combination with this, Gengar pairs really nicely. Having T-Spikes up actually sets up for Gengar to just kill everything with spell tag hexes, and his only ghost resist is Bisharp. So I do have Reflect type to prevent me from being pursuit trapped by Bisharp or Sucker Punch, and then I can revenge it with a Focus Blast or just decide to switch out. So that's really cool. Actually, Sludge Wave plus Hex is actually illegal, and I didn't know that, so I had to actually run Sludge Bomb, which isn't a huge deal in the world. It's only 5 base power different from Sludge Wave, and this way I actually have more chance to get poisoned. So if I get a poison on something like Pelipper or you know, anything that isn't affected by T-Spikes, or even there are times when T-Spikes might not be guaranteed to be up, I can always get some nice poisons, and then, you know, Sludge Bomb into Hex might kill some stuff. Yeah, Hex is super strong. Do you know Spell Tag Hex, if I do get up T-Spikes, after 1 round of poison damage, it actually OHKOs offensive Garchomp, which is kind of insane. Like, it is like 90% to Chomp, which that's just insane to think about, dude. Gengar is strong as fuck. I don't know why some people don't like this mon, but yeah, my next mon I'm actually gonna go over is Clefable. Got a Life Orb, not too speedy. Has a lot of bulk though, which is really nice. It's gonna be able to live a lot of hits. This speed actually allows me to outspeed Pelipper, and he doesn't have a Fairy Resist, so Moonblast is going to be hitting his team very hard. This is also an insanely good rocker versus him because his only forms of removal are Mew and Pelipper, and potentially Articuno, but it should still be able to beat Articuno 1v1 and make sure that its rocks stay up. So that's really good. If it's Defog Mew, it's not going to be like Calm Mind with Psyshock. It's going to probably be more of a support move pool. It might have Taunt, but yeah, it might not be Taunt Defog, which would be annoying, but if it isn't Taunt Defog, then I can Calm Mind up and beat that Mew 1v1 and just ensure that my rocks stay up. Also, Moonblast will be able to kill Pelipper after rocks, and I will outspeed it with my speed investment, unless he has a ton of speed in it or something. But yeah, even if he does have a ton of speed, he's not really doing a ton of damage to my Clefable because, you know, Clefable, even without a ton of investment, is still pretty bulky. So that's pretty much that set. My next mon is actually going to be a pretty fun mon right here. This is a really fun team, by the way. One of my favorite teams I've built in a little while. But yeah, we're just going to go over my Mega Aerodactyls. So this is a really weird set you're looking at. This is pretty much a defensive Mega Aerodactyl. I actually have enough attack investment to allow me to OHKO offensive Chomp with Ice Fang, which is really nice. Chomp is a huge threat versus my team. If you guys didn't realize, one of the main weaknesses to my team is actually I'm really weak to ground attacks. So the fact that Seb has Mega Swampert plus Garchomp, that is kind of scary for me. So I can always switch into Chomp and I will outspeed it, and I can hit it with an Ice Fang. Dragon Claw does not 2-kill me even if he's Life Orb. Outrage will, but I always have a Clefable in the back, and I will still be able to take an Outrage and kill it off with an Ice Fang. So that's really nice. Originally I actually had Wing Attack over Defog. Wing Attack is really nice because he actually doesn't have a Flying Resist either, and his only Flying Resist is actually Bisharp. And thing is, Wing Attack is still very weak, but it's just a nice neutral attack to have versus everything at Stab. And I decided last minute to take Wing Attack off for Defog, and the reason why I did that is because I got really paranoid about webs coming, and it just kind of scared me. Plus, I can always defog rocks off the field because KB is very important to me not getting swept by a couple mons, and if it gets weakened, I can be in a bad position. So defog might also be nice to get rid of rocks, even for Mega Aerodactyl, and just less chip damage. Actually, Furfrou, you're going to see, does not appreciate rocks because it comes in and it really likes its health being high. So that's really important. This is actually all I need is this amount of speed to outspeed Tornai, and that pretty much outspeeds his entire team besides Scarfers, as well as, you know, Mega Swampert and Rain. But yeah, we're gonna move on to KB right here. We got a Choppleberry KB. If you guys can tell, my team is super weak to Scarf Keldeo, especially if there's Rain to couple with it. So got a Chople Berry KB. It's a nice moveset, you know. Pretty much is there. This thing is there to stop me from getting wrecked by Keldeo. It's also nice against this team because he doesn't have like really good Dragon and Ice resist. His Dragon resist is only Bisharp and Granbull. As I said, I could see Spadef, Granbull, or not. Maybe even Spadef, but I would think AV is better just because it can hit harder while also being relatively bulky. But if he's not AV, Ice Beam is actually to a KO on Granbull, which is really nice. Fusion Bolt is there just so I can just smack that Keldeo really hard because it's probably the biggest threat to at least this team. Maybe even my team in general. Scarf Keldeo is so annoying. And I have Roost to make sure that I'm high health so I can always have enough health to take a Secret Sword from Keldeo and just fuck it with this T-Bolt. Or not this T-Bolt, this Fusion Bolt. But we're going to get into this last Mon right here. And this is my favorite Mon on this team, if you guys can't tell. It's a really cool set. We got Furfrou is making its debut this week. I'm just max defense, max HP with the fucking Fur Coat ability. Its defense is insane. Do you guys know that in rain, Furfrou actually does not get 4 KO'd by Adamant Waterfall from Mega Swampert after Leftovers recovery? That's just insane to think about. And I do have the Grass Knot. So in case he's like power up punch, he can't beat me 1v1 or just spam Waterfall and try to kill me, I have Grass Knot to actually to a KO that thing, which is really nice. And I have Hidden Power Fighting as my last attack. Because, you know, it's nice for Bisharp. And last move is Toxic. Oh, and U-turn as well, but I'll get into that in a sec. But Toxic is really nice for stuff like Pelipper and stuff that doesn't get affected by T-Spikes. As well as I'm not guaranteed to get T-Spikes up. He still can defog on me with stuff like Pelipper. And I might not have them up all the time, so this helps me to spread Toxics throughout his team. I can also switch into Chomp, even though I think he's going to be SD Chomp, and SD Chomp can actually set up on this, so I don't want to be in there for long. Maybe U-turn out into something like Specs Ninja if it's in range of Dark Pulse or something. Yeah, I can help pivot around Chomp. Just a really nice pivot. In combination with T-Spikes, this Mon is really good versus him because he's gonna be Seb is gonna be taking so much chip with all of his Pokemon, and I'm just U-turning around, being bulky. And if you're hitting me with a special attack, you're not gonna be able to hurt me at all. So, or if you're not hitting me with a special attack, you're not gonna be able to hurt me at all. I don't know what that sentence I just said. I hope that made sense. But yeah, it takes any physical hit, okay? Furfrou is just a fucking god, and it's a pretty shit Mon otherwise. Like, it just had a pretty good matchup with special attacks right here. I'm running special Furfrou. Look, it has 65 base special attack. But a 2 KO is the things I wanted at 2 KO. And this team, besides it, was really weak to Mega Swampert as well as Bisharp. So it kind of patches up those things. So it kind of just fit the team like a glove. And it's pretty funny that Furfrou is coming. I'm not gonna lie, like, it's not a good Mon. Like, its coverage is so bad besides like on the physical side, and it has like no special attack. But hopefully it's gonna do work. It has a really good matchup this week, and yeah, I'm really excited for it. So let's get right into battle. Alright, we are here with the actual battle up against Seb right over here. So if you guys can see his team, he brought a pretty interesting team. Pretty much all stuff that I did expect. Except I see the Articuno right over here, which is kind of weird, so that's pretty interesting. Also, something that was pretty weird is that he didn't actually bring Pelipper, so he doesn't have the Mega Swampert in Rain, you know, as a Rain Sweeper this week, which kind of weird, but that means that Furfrou is going to be a bit more expendable. I can play a bit more recklessly because it's he doesn't have that rain element on his team anymore, although he could potentially be manual setup with the Rain Dance. I do still have like KB that can take any one hit though, and I do have Chople Berry in case it's like superpower, but I want to keep that mostly there for Keldeo's Secret Sword. Most likely going to be Scarf Keldeo, and Articuno is kind of weird. He actually brought the same Pokemon last week. But he brought a really bulky set, defensive set with stuff like Heal Bell and Defog. So It might actually be a defog set again this week because he didn't bring his other defoggers in Pelipper, although he did bring Mew, so Mew might be his defogger as well. Just Articuno is kind of a weird thing to see. He didn't bring Tangrowth either, so I was thinking that this Articuno might actually be a Spadef to take on stuff like my Greninja and Gengar. Because like the main reason for Tangrowth to come was I was feeling for Drill, even Greninja, but Articuno's not taking on Drill anyway, but it can take on Gengar and Greninja if it is like a more bulky variant with the Roost. So that was pretty cool to see. Bisharp is only Ghost Resist. We also got like Chomp and Swampert. So he brought I think all his potential rockers this week, but I'm expecting probably either Chomp or Mega Swampert to have rocks on this team. He didn't bring the Rain as well, so he could potentially be like Rock Swampert, maybe bulky or something. So we're gonna have to see about that, but I just decided that I'm gonna lead off with my Clefable right over here, as he leads off with his Garchomp. So I'm just gonna go for a Moonblast first turn. I actually did not think too hard about Iron Tail, but I'm just gonna Oko him right here. He actually was gonna go for Iron Tail then Rocks because he didn't expect me to be an offensive Clef, but I just Oko'd him, so none of us are going to get rocks on the field because the Chomp was actually his rocker. I probably shouldn't say that yet because I only found out after the battle that Chomp was 100% his rocker, so but I'm not able to get rocks up, which is kind of unfortunate. I had to sack off my Keldeo, or I had to sack off my Clef to his Keldeo. Oh my god, my words. But I'm going to T-Spike on his switch out into something like Articuno. That Keldeo, I was pretty sure was going to be Choice Lock, and I could even scare it out with Specs Extra Sensory. So I'm going to bring in KB on the Articuno because I know I can take any one hit, fire off a Dragon Claw, and we see that's actually a really bulky Mega Swampert, and right here reveals Rest. So I switch in my Furfrou because I know I can take any one hit and I can go for a Grass Knot after that, as I'm just going to go for the Grass Knot right over here. He obviously did not expect that, and he just stayed in. And he actually Sleep Talk. So it's a Rest, Sleep Talk, definitely a bulky Mega Swampert, probably there to take hits from my KB. But I'm going to U-turn after I reveal the Grass Knot because I didn't expect him to stay in. And I'm just going to switch out into my Greninja. And right here, I can just go for a Dark Pulse. I just wanted to gauge how much damage it was going to do to Articuno, as he actually went out into his Bisharp, which was kind of weird. He took a lot of damage, and that damage actually puts him in range of Hidden Power fighting from my Furfrou. So I went out into Furfrou on the Bisharp. He actually made a double out into his Keldeo, and obviously Keldeo is a huge threat to my team. And as I said, Furfrou is a bit expendable for RizzyPOW. Unfortunately, it's a bit expendable because he didn't bring the Pelipper with the Rain, and I already know that this is a defensive Swampert. I have ways to deal with it, like Hex Gengar, since he is sleeping. Is going to do a ton of damage. But right here, I'm just going to decide to U-turn out because if this thing is Scarf, I'm going to 100% like see if it is Scarf. I was expecting either Specs or Scarf, pretty much guaranteed some choice variant, but we're going to see how much damage it does, making sure it isn't Specs or anything, as I'm just going to go for a U-turn. If he was Scarf, he wasn't going to use it to kill me with anything except Hydro Pump, and I'm still left with a lot of my health. I'm still going to be able to take on the Bisharp with that amount of health, which is fine with me. I'm going to get a free switch out into my KB and just fire off a Dragon Claw because he doesn't have any good resistances, especially after Bisharp took a huge chunk of damage, as Dragon Claw is actually just going to be able to 2-hit KO that Mega Swampert, which is perfect because now Garchomp and Swampert are both dead, which were probably the biggest threats to my team. But right here, I'm actually going to go out into Furfrou on the Mew because, as I said, again, Furfrou is expendable. I can Toxic that Mew, even if it does Toxic myself with the Synchronize. That was fine, but I wanted to be able to pivot out into it and stuff, as this is actually perfect because he doubled out into Bisharp, and I look pretty cool right here because I can just go for a Hidden Power fighting because he is now in range of it, as he actually just goes for an Iron Tail, which I don't understand why he did it. Maybe he was predicting a switch, maybe out into like my Mega Aerodactyl, that might have made sense. But I'm just going to kill him with a hidden power fire and sack it off. But Furfrou got a fucking kill, guys, and it did about 50% to that Swampert. So that's insane. That's all I really wanted from Furfrou. Got a kill, and it actually did a ton of work this game. It was a really nice team players. So KB is now going to be able to take down the Articuno. As that's really nice. He's just left with these two Pokemon, but Keldeo is definitely the biggest threat to my team. I do have Chopo KB in the back to take care of it, so that's really nice. And right here, this might actually look like a weird play. I went hard into Gengar on the Mew because I was in with KB, and at this point, I don't know too much about this Mew. I know that... do I even know anything about this Mew? I think it might have revealed Roost. I might have not, but I'm expecting probably to be a bulky Mew. I went hard into Gengar because I did, like, Greninja was the most obvious switch in right here, and if he was like Aura Sphere, which I had a feeling there was a good chance he would be, I felt like that was his play to go for it. Now, I didn't want to take a ton of damage on my Greninja because Greninja is one of my main ways of winning this game. It is my best way to kill off the Mew, so I don't want to just take a ton of damage on it right away. And I felt there was no way he was going to go for a Side Shock, just knowing Seb. He's a really aggressive player, and when Greninja is the most obvious switch in, like, there was just no way he was going for Psychic right here. I was expecting either a Whisk coming out or a Aura Sphere, so I can go out into my Gengar, and what I can do right here is actually just Hex. Hex is going to do a ton of damage to this thing and actually put it in range of like Dragon Claw from my KB. So that was the whole reason why I went Gengar right here. Unfortunately, he isn't status, so Hex isn't going to do a ton of damage, but like it's still going to do over 50%. So right here, I can just fire off a Hex. If he does decide to switch out in his Keldeo, that's just better that's really good for me because this is now putting it in range of Dark Pulse from my Greninja. Like, start weakening it. He can't switch in multiple times to my Greninja with Keldeo now, which is really nice. And I'm just going to go hard into Mega Aerodactyl on the Keldeo. Again, Mega Aerodactyl is not doing much this game because it's pretty much walled by Mew, and Keldeo can just kill in one hit. So there's no real reason to keep it around. So I'm going to be using Mega Aerodactyl as a sack for the rest of the game, as he actually went hard Mew on my Mega Aerodactyl. So I'm going to double out in case he's some weird setup variant with Wisp and Defog, or not, with Wisp and Roost. I don't know if he actually revealed Roost, but I was expecting Roost. So in case he was some weird setup variant, I didn't see any reason to stay in with Aerodactyl, and at this point I felt that he was going to go for Psychic, if anything, because I went Gengar hard last time. So I felt pretty safe going out into Greninja. Let me actually go back right here. Yeah, I went hard Greninja. And right here, I can just fire off a Dark Pulse. He can only switch in Keldeo on Dark Pulse one more time, and he's forced to do that right here. So he can't switch into Dark Pulse anymore after this because he's now in range of another Dark Pulse. So right here, I think I just go out into my Mega Aerodactyl. I really don't need it anymore, and that's not even Mega Evolved yet. It hasn't gotten the defense boost, and it took less than half from a Secret Sword from Keldeo. I brought a really nice bulky Aerodactyl this week, so that's kind of crazy. And right here, I know he's locked in Secret Sword, so I actually decided to go hard into Gengar because I can take the Secret Sword, obviously, it doesn't do anything, and if he decides to double out into Mew, I can just fire off a Hex, and that is going to put him in range of Dragon Claw for my KB. So he just roosts that all off, trying to gauge how much damage Hex is going to do, but it's doing well over 50%, so I'm fine with just spamming it, and he is now very weak. So my plan right now is, I kind of misplayed right here, so I thought that I had enough speed on my KB to actually outspeed the Clef, or not the Clef, to outspeed the Mew, and I could have just killed it right here, and since I had the Chople Berry, I would also kill Keldeo, and it would have been a 3-0. Now, I should have double checked everything and realized that there's a chance that I might not outspeed it, and I actually don't outspeed it. So this is a little bit of a problem, but I'm gonna Dragon Claw first, and I say I don't outspeed, but this is kind of fine because he's left with 41% on this Mew, and this is really important because this is still in range of another Dragon Claw. If he doesn't roost up right here and maybe like he misses a Wisp or something, Dragon Claw actually kills that. And the reason why this is important, that he's in range of Dragon Claw, is because I'm gonna go hard Greninja right here. The reason why I did that is because And I can take pretty much anything that Mew wants to go for. At this point, I don't think he has the Aura Sphere because I feel like he would have revealed that already. So I can go hard Greninja. If he does decide to go into Keldeo right here, trying to predict that, then I can just sack off my Mega Aerodactyl. I can go out into my KB, live anyone hit from Keldeo, and go for a Dragon Claw, and he can't even switch out into his Mew because he is in range of a Dragon Claw right now. So I should be able to win this game still, so hopefully that choke doesn't cost me the entire game, which is going to be really nice. So right now he does make that play. I felt like there was a good chance he would because Sub's a really aggressive player, and right here I'm just going to go out into my Mega Aerodactyl and sack it off. Still, my Gyarados was kind of cool. It didn't do anything this game, which kind of sucks. It was a pretty interesting set, but Jump got OHKO'd first turn, so wasn't able to really show off its, its magic, But, yeah, gonna sack off Mega Aerodactyl. Gonna go hard Kyurem, and I can just go for a Dragon Claw right here, and I pretty much secure a kill. Kills Mew at this range, and it's gonna kill off his Keldeo. So that's fine with me. He's gonna go into Mew right now, and I always have Greninja in the back to make sure to deal with this Mew. So I'm gonna go hard hard Greninja right here and just fire off a Dark Pulse. And it's kind of crazy. This thing actually lives on 1%. It does get flinch. It doesn't matter because he didn't have any way to hit me. But it's kind of crazy that he was barely able to live that Dark Pulse. So yeah, that's pretty much the game. The Phoenix and Floors are now 2-0 with a +4 differential, which is really, really cool. I'm happy that I'm actually doing pretty decent this season of the NPL so far. Next week, we play my good friend Trev CL, and I'm kind of upset about that because I've never beaten Trev before in league format. So that's kind of scary to think about. I don't want to face him, and honestly, the matchup is not that good up against Trev either. So you guys will see that next week. Also, just to talk a little bit more about the battle, guys, Furfrou is a fucking god. I don't know if I'll ever be able to bring this thing again, but it got a kill against Bisharp. Let's just go look at the beauty once more. Oh my god, guys, Frau killing a Bisharp right here. I'm just really happy about this Furfrou set actually worked and did stuff. It makes me so happy. But I hope you guys enjoyed. Respect the Furfrou, man. And I'll see you guys next time. Peace.